So this is a mathematics Pearson's paper 3 calculator higher tier exam for summer 2017. It's an hour and a half long, so let's get started. The first question relates to Venn diagrams. So the first part says complete the Venn diagram to represent the information. So I'm going to put A there, I'm going to put B there. And then let's put in, so what do we see in common? Well, I see 15 in common between these two, so I'll start off with 15 and then just put everything else into A. 3, 9, 21 and 27. And then for B, well, we've already got a 15 in there, so 5 and 25. And then E is odd numbers less than 30, so let's just put in the rest. So 1, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23 and 29. And it says a number is chosen at random from the universal set. What is the probability that the number is in set A union B? So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 potential numbers out of a possible 15 that could have been chosen. So the answer is 7 over 15. So here are simultaneous equations. For question 2, solve these. So I'm going to use elimination because I see 3 x's on my equation 1 and 3x on my equation 2. So let's say, since we want to avoid any negative numbers on my y, I'm going to say 1 subtract 2. So equation 1 subtract equation 2. So 3x minus 3x. Y minus 4y equals minus 4 minus 6. So this cancels. This gives us 5y equals minus 10. So y equals minus 2 because we divide by 5. And then we have y going back into either one. Let's put it into equation 1, so 3 x plus minus 2 equals minus 4. Take that to the other side, becomes a plus 2. 3x equals minus 4 plus 2. 3x equals minus 2. Divide by 3 on both sides. So we get x equals minus 2 over 3. So this equals minus 2 over 3, and this here equals minus 2. Okay, question 3. The table shows some information about the dress sizes of 25 women. Find the median size. So how many? So we count the frequency. So that's 2, that's 11, that's 19, and that's 25. So 25 divided by 2 will give us 12.5. So we know it's going to be here within this category. So dress size 12. Then it says 3 of the 25 women have a shoe size of 7. Zoe says that if you choose at random one of the 25 women, the probability that she has either a shoe size 7 or a dress size of 14 is 9 over 25, because 3 over 25 plus 6 over 25 is 9 over 25. So is Zoe correct? You must give your answer. And so Zoe, the answer is going to be no. Some of the women could have both size 7 shoe and size 14 dress. Meaning that it's not either or. There are some women that could have both those sizes. Question 4. So it says Daniel bakes 420 cakes. He bakes only vanilla cakes, banana cakes, lemon cakes, and chocolate cakes. 2 over 7 of the cakes are vanilla cakes, 35% of the cakes are banana cakes. So let's again just highlight vanilla cakes. Oh, don't know what happened there. Sometimes it doesn't want to highlight. Okay, well, we know that 35% are banana cakes, and the ratio of lemon cakes to chocolate cakes is 4 over 5. And so the question is, work out number of lemon cakes Daniel baked. So it says 2 over 7 is vanilla cakes times 420. So we know we have 120 vanilla. Then we can work out 35% of the cakes are banana cakes. So 35 over 100 times 420 gives us 147. So that's banana. And then we can say 420 subtracted by 120 from the vanilla and 147 from the banana will leave 153 cakes left. So we know there's lemon and chocolate cake from 4 to 5. So 4 to 9 times by 153 will give us the lemon. And then 5 to 9 times 153 will give us the chocolate. So this is going to give us an answer of 68. So it will give us 85. So therefore, the answer would be 65 because we're interested in lemon cakes. Question 5. In a diagram, AB, BC, and CD are 3 sides of a parallel. So AB, BC, and CD, sides of a regular polygon, P. Show that the polygon is a hexagon. You must show you're working out. Okay. So let's say 360 divided by 12. Okay. Because we've got a regular 12-sided polygon here, so we divide by 12 to find the angles, or the exterior angle of the 12-sided polygon. So we've got here 30. So this is going to be the exterior angle, sided polygon. And then we can see that 180 subtracted by 30 will give us 150. So if we have, for example, a square, this is going to be 90. This is going to be 90. Okay, and we know that the exterior of a 12-sided polygon is going to be 30. We know that the interior angle is going to be 150. So that's going to be 150. So the interior angle. And so the interior angle of P is going to be 360, take away 150, take away 90, because that comes from 360, which is entire rotation, take away the 150, take away the 90, so that gives 120. So then the exterior of P is going to be 180 minus 120, which we got from here, which equals 60. So we know that, choose a different color, this is going to be 120. So that's 120. So we know the exterior excuse me, is going to be equal to 60. And if we say 360 divided by 60 equals 6, then P has 6 sides, therefore it's a hexagon. Okay, the next question. Question 6. So we have density of apple juice, density of fruit syrup, density of carbonated water. So remember, I'm going to have my triangle, which is mass, density and volume. So we have that triangle. If I can write it out properly. This is D. This is B. Right, so essentially the question is work out the density of the drink. So let's work this out. So mass of apple. We're going to need the mass of fruit syrup. And we're going to need the mass of water. So mass of apple is going to be 1.05 times 25, because we've got 25 centimeters cubed of apple juice. 1.4 times 15, because we've got 15 centimeters cubed of fruit syrup. And then we've got 0.99, because we've got 0.99 grams, times by 280 of carbonated water. So using our calculator, 26.25, 21 is 277.2. So the total mass is going to be all of those added together. So total mass is going to be 26.25 plus 21 plus 277.2. which is going to equate to 324.45. And then the total volume is 320. We know that because it's told there. So the density is going to be 324.45 over 320. Just from here, the mass divided by the volume, which is going to give us 1.01 grams per centimeters cubed. So 1.01. Question 7. ABC is a right angled triangle. Calculate the length AB. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So Toa. Right, so let's label. We have the hypotenuse here, we've got the opposite here and the adjacent. Remember, this is hypotenuse, this is the opposite, and this will be the adjacent. So what do we want? We want to find AB. So we want the opposite, and we have the hypotenuse. So we're going to use this one here. So we say sine, what's the angle? 23 equals x over 15. So remember, it's going to be the opposite over the hypotenuse. So then we just rearrange. So 15 sine 23. We use our calculator to give us 5.86 centimeters to 3 significant figures. Question 8. A square with side of length X is inside a circle. Each vertex just means corner of the square is on the circumference of the circle, so that means just touching the circle. The area of the circle is 49 centimeters squared. Work out the value of X, correct to 3 significant figures. I'm going to draw my very badly sketched circle, but you get the idea. Then you have a square. Again, this looks like a rectangle. Let me try that again, actually. I'll try and make it a little bit better. So we've got a circle and a square inside. Okay, that looks reasonably better. So we know that each one of the sides is going to be X. Okay. And we know it's touching at this point. It's touching there, touching there, touching there. And the area of the circle is 49. So the area of a circle, our formula is pi r squared. So this equals 49. So essentially we can rearrange. So we say, therefore, r equals the square root of 49 over pi. Right? And then we can simply say that if this is touching the circumference, and that is touching the circumference, we have a right angle here that is based on the circle theorem rule. So circle theorem rule. Which is the fact that if we have two lines subtending from... Sorry, I just realized I misspelled theorem. That's better. So if we have 2 points subtending from the same arc, then they will have a 90-degree angle. Okay, we know that this is going to be therefore isosceles. So now what we can do is say that these are radii. So we know that if we just use a different color, so this is R, this is R, so these are going to be the same. So we can write 39.5, which is actually, let's just use R. So if we use the square root of 49 over pi squared plus 49 over pi squared equals x squared, then we will get 31.194 equals x squared. This means that x equals the square root of 31.194, and because it wants us 3 significant figures, then we'll have x equals 5.59. So the answer is 5.59. So essentially what we've done is we've used Pythagoras here. So we've said Pythagoras which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We've said that this is our a, if you like, this is our b, and this is our c, and we just use that use a calculator to calculate this, square rooted here, and we found our x. Question 9. It says the box plot shows information about the distribution of the amounts of money spent by some male students on their holidays. Work out the interquartile range for the amounts of money spent by these male students. So interquartile is just basically the upper quartile. So I'm just going to say upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So this represents the upper quartile. So that's about 330 because it's in between two boxes. So 330. And then this one here is in between two boxes again. Each one is worth 20, goes up in 20, so that's 150. So that's 180. Then it says on the grid above, so B says on the grid above, draw a box plot for the information in the table for the female students. So let's just basically plot all of these. Now I don't have, again, a very precise hand, but essentially we've got 60, which is about here. Okay, and then we've got 180 as a lower quartile, which is about here. Should cross the line. And then we've got median 300. And then upper quartile 350. Something like this. And then we've got largest is 650. So again, excuse the fact that I don't have a calculator. Then we draw that straight line throughout and just connect these two here. Okay, now it's not straight, but it should be straight edges all the way across, and you should have something that looks similar to this but a lot straighter. Nine C. So Chris says the box plots show that the female students spent more money than the male students. Give a reason for your answer. So yes, the median amount spent by girls is more. So you can see that the median was 300, whereas for the boys it was less than that. I think about 250. Or you could have said yes, the lowest amount spent by the girls is higher. Question 10. Naomi invests 6,000 for 5 years. The investment gets compound interest of X% per annum. At the end of the 5 years, the investment is worth £8,029.35. Work out the value of X. So essentially we have 6,000 times by Y to the power of 5 equals the 8,000, the investment, 8,029.35. Divide by 6,000 to get Y cubed, and here we get 1.338225. So Y, so that should be 5, is going to be 5 root 1.338225, which will give us 1.05999. I'm going to leave it at that. So that means that X, write that here, so that means that X is 5.99%. So I'm just going to say 6%. So that's the value of X, is 6%. Question 11. Jeff is choosing a shrub and a rose tree for his garden. At the garden centre, 17 types of shrubs. Jeff says there are 215 different ways to choose one shrub and one rose. Could Jeff be right? So 215 divided by 17 equals 12.64705,882. So the answer is no. The number of rows, trees must be a integer, a whole number. Okay, integer. Because essentially 17 times a number is going to give us 215. That's the permutation. It's the number of ways you can choose. But obviously here it gives us 12.6, so that's false. Question 12. The points A, B, C, and D lie on a straight line, and it has these ratios here. So let's draw that straight line. So we've got A, B, and then C, and it's not to scale here, D. So we've got AB and BD is 1 to 5, so there's 6 parts here. And then ACCD is 7 to 11, so there's 18 parts here. Okay, so it means that between these two, multiplied by 3. So to have an equivalence, we say from A to C and then C to D. So let's just write this out. So that's 7, and then here is 11, and then we have A to B is going to be, so A to B, and then B to D is going to be 3, and this one's going to be 15. So we know that this is going to be 3. Sorry, beg your pardon. So this is going to, just to reiterate, so draw a different color. So AB is going to be 3. Got that there. And then we know that BC is going to be 4, because 3 and 4 gives us 7, and we know that AC is 7 from here. And then it asks us for CD. Well, that means that CD is going to be 11, because we know CD is 11. So 3, 4, and 11. So question 13 says, write down the 3 inequalities that define the shaded region. So let's say first and foremost y. So if we look at this here, so let's look at the y. So y is going to be greater than or equal to -2. So we can see the shade region doesn't go beyond that. So y is equal to or greater than -2. And then we can see that for this follows the y equals x line here. So we can say y is going to be greater than or equal to x, because that's the shaded region. And then finally we can work out a inequality, the line graph here. So the equation of that line is going to be crosses the y, and we can work out its gradient. So it goes 2 across and 1 up, so the gradient is half. So y, so the c-intercept is 1, and the gradient is half. So that means the equation of that line is half x plus 1, and we can see that it's going to be, y is going to be less than or greater, sorry, less than or equal to. So we have y is greater than minus 2, y is greater than or equal to x, and y is less than or equal to 0.5x plus 1. That will give us the shaded region. Simplify question 14. So we can find this by factorizing. So a equals 2, b equals minus 5, c equals minus 12. So minus 24, so product that gives us two numbers, product of which is minus 24, and the sum of which is 5. So this is going to be, if I think about it, let's say 12 or 24. So we've got 1, 24, 2 and 12, then 3 and 8. That looks familiar. So we can say 3 and minus 8. So we have 2x squared, and then I'm going to have minus 8x plus 3x minus 12. So we'll just continue that up here. So we're going to have 2x, then we have x minus 4, and then x minus 4, and then we'll have 3 here. So 2x plus 3, x minus 4. Now this is the difference of two squares. So this can be rewritten as x minus 4 plus, multiplied by x plus 4. So we can write all of this out more neatly. So x minus 4 in the brackets, x plus 4 in the brackets, 2x plus 3 as the denominator, x minus 4. So this cancels with that. So we get x plus 4 as a numerator over 2x plus 3 as our denominator. So it says make v the subject of this formula. So it just requires some rearranging. So first thing is, let's write it out. Oh, different color. So w equals 15t minus 2v over v. So first let's multiply by v. So we get wv equals 15t minus 2v. And then let's expand. So we get 15t minus 30v equals wv. So collect like terms. So we've got wv minus 30v equals 15t, because remember that becomes a negative 30v. So then factorize. So we get v outside w minus 30 equals 15t. And then here we divide by w minus 30. So we get v equals 15t w minus 30. So that means v equals 15t. It doesn't matter, 30 plus w is the same thing because commutative, you can write them either way, and that should be a plus. Sorry, I just noted been writing a negative. That should be a positive. Yep. Question 15. So essentially the area of the triangle is ABC, or the triangle ABC is 6 square root 2. Calculate x give your answer to correct to 3 significant figures. So just because this is a little bit of working out, I'm going to write it on a different platform. So we had our triangle C, it's 3 meters, and then we had 2x minus 1 meters. I'm just going to put m, and then we had this as 45 degrees, and we knew that our area was 6 square root 2. So we want to find x. So the area we know is half a b sine c equals 6 square root 2. So that's the formula for a non-right angle triangle. Formula for non-right angle triangle. So we put half x plus 3. So we're going to call this, just going to label it differently, a, call this b. Okay. And then this one here, 2x minus 1, and then we say sine 45 equals 6 square root 2, and then this here, sine 45 is just square root 2 over 2. So we have half, and then we can multiply this here, multiplied by x plus 3, multiplied by 2x minus 1, 6 square root 2. This cancels with that. We get 4 here. So x plus 3, 2x minus 1 equals 6 times by 4. We just multiply by 4. So we have 24 on the left hand side, so on the right hand side. So that's the right hand side, this is the left hand side. So just multiply out. So we have, expanding out, 2x squared minus x plus 6x minus 3 equals 24. And then let's bring it up here. And then we just simplify, so 2x squared plus 5x minus 27 equals 0. So a equals 2, b equals 5, c equals minus 27. Now we use quad formula to figure out x, to solve for x. So we have x equals minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So we get x equals minus 5 plus minus 25 minus 4 to minus 27 over 4. And then if we put this all into a calculator, then this will give us x equals 2.63 or x equals minus 5.13. Now obviously we can't have x, if we look at our original question, we can't have x being a negative number because it will give us a negative value here, a negative value here, and obviously because we're talking about physical space, so that means it's impossible for the space to be negative. So therefore x equals 2.63. So x equals 2.63. which is in line with 3 significant figures. Question 16. Using x subscript n plus 1 equals minus 2 minus 4 over x to the power of 2n. So starting off with the first number in the sequence, so minus 2.5, find the values of x1, x2, and x3. So let's say x1 equals minus 2 minus 4, and then we're going to use this minus 2.5 squared. Using a calculator, we get minus 2.64. So x2, so it's just a case of just putting the numbers, subbing the numbers in and using the formula appropriately. Minus 2.64 squared, get again minus 2.5739210028. Again, it's just using a calculator. And then x3, so again minus 2 minus 4, and then we're going to put in the answer. So I'm just going to call this x here. So x squared, which is going to give us minus 2.6037672255. Okay, so these are the values for 16, and you can just put them in here. So this will explain the relationship between the values of x1, x2, and x3 and the equation x to the power of 3 plus 2x squared plus 4 equals 0. So they are estimates of a solution to this equation here, with x equals minus 2 minus 4 over x2 is a rearrangement of x to the cube plus 2x squared plus 4 equals 0. You can see it's just a rearrangement, so it's an estimate of that. Question 17. A train travelled along a track in 110 minutes, correct to the nearest 5 minutes. Jake finds out that the track is 270 kilometers long. He assumes that the track has been measured correct to the nearest 10 kilometers. Could the average speed of the train have been greater than 160 kilometers an hour? You must show you're working out. Okay, so the time, if I can draw properly. It's difficult to draw straight lines sometimes. So it's 110 minutes. So 105, 115. So we have here 112.5. And we have here 107.5. This is the time. And then for the distance, we have that as 270 kilometers. So this is 280. This is 260. 265 here. 275. So this is distance. And so the upper speed, so remember our triangles, so it's distance, speed, and time. So upper distance and the lower time, because we're trying to maximize, get the upper speed. So it's 107.5. So 107.5 divided by 60. This is again, remember the 60 minutes, which is 1.7916 recurring. And then we have 275. So upper distance is 275, and then the lower time is 1.7916. So we get 153.4 0.488371. So no. So remember the question is, could the average speed of the train have been greater than 160? So no. Average speed not over 160 kilometers an hour, because this was the upper speed and we got 153. Jake's assumption was wrong. The track was measured correct to the nearest 5 kilometers. Explain why this could affect your decision in part A. Explain how this could affect, and it wouldn't. The maximum speed, sorry, the maximum upper bound would be lower. Because the track was measured correct to the nearest 5 kilometers. So that means that you'd actually be dividing by a larger number. So your upper speed would be a lower value. Question 18. So you have this here. This diagram here. So work out the arc, the length of the arc AB. So that's AB. And wants to work out the length. Okay, so we know this is 9 centimeters. We know this is X. And we know this is right angle, right angle. Okay, so we can see we have a right angle triangle here, right angle triangle there, but they're the same thing. So let's draw it out. If I can draw it out slightly reasonably, draw that there. So 9 here, X is there. 5 here, X is here. So we do so ka toa. So this is going to be the, I'm going to do a different color. This is going to be the, this is going to be the opposite, because it's opposite the angle X. This is going to be the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. And then this is going to be the adjacent. So we've got the adjacent, we have the hypotenuse. So we're going to choose this one here. So angle AOC. So we have AOC. So that's that one there. Is going to be sorry. Jumped a step. So cos X equals 5/9. Using the the ka. So therefore cos inverse 5/9 equals X, which is 56.25. So AOC, the angle, is going to be twice that, so 2 times 56.25, which gives us 112.50. I'm going to leave that as that. Then we have 360 take away 112.50, which is going to give us 247.5. And then we have 247.5 over 360 times 2 pi r. So remember, 2 pi r gives you, so this is a formula. Well, let's calculate that first and foremost. So r is 5. So 247.5 over 360 times by 10 pi, which will give us 21.6 to 3 significant figures. So 21.6. Remember that formula for circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, so it's 21.6 centimeters. So this one here is 21.6 centimeters. So solve 19, solve this. So let's first treat that as an equality. So A is 2, B is 3, C is minus 2. So product, which gives us 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4. Two numbers that sum to give us 3. So we got 4, got 1, 4, 2, 2. So if we take minus 1, will give us, multiply them, give us minus 4. And then if we add, will give us 3. So 2x squared plus 4x minus x minus 2. Let's say that. So 2x x plus 2. So x plus 2. So we have here minus, so 2x minus 1, x plus 2, greater than 0. So in this case, x is equal to a half, or x is equal to minus 2. So if we draw out so let me draw that again, draw out a curve. So do that, so that's y, that's x. And then we know it's going to cross at half, and we know it's going to cross at minus 2. Don't worry about where it crosses the x-axis, sorry, the y-axis. So that's a half. And essentially we know that y is going to be greater, so it says where this is greater than 0, so we know that y is going to be greater than 0 here, y is going to be greater than 0 here. So when x is less than or equal to minus 2, less than 2, or when x is greater than a half, because we want it to be, we want this y essentially to be greater than 0. So x greater than a half, x less than minus 2. Question 20, the equation of a curve is y equals a to the power of x. A is a point where the curve intersects the y-axis. State the coordinates. So crosses y when x equals 0, because the y-axis, x equals 0. So y equals AO. Therefore y equals 1, because anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So we have 0, 1. The next part, it says that the equation of the circle C is x squared plus y squared equals 16. The circle C is translated by the vector 3, 0 to give circle B. Draw a sketch of circle B. Label with coordinates the center of circle B with any points of intersection with the x-axis. So we have, if I do this correctly, we have a grid, and we know that this is going to give us, so A, B is going to be 0, sorry, the origin, so AB is going to be 0, 0, so that's the origin here. And then we have something that goes all around, so that's 4, it's -4, -4. And then if it moves 3, 0, so it moves 3, 0, so the vector, then we're going to have, this is y, this is x, where we're going to have 7, and the centers now move to 3, 0, and this is going to be -1, and so therefore we can see that this is going to be 7, 0, and this one here is going to be -1, 0. And then this point here where it crosses is going to be 0, 4 here. Because if you just recall, this is always going to be a distance of 4. And that brings us to the end of the exam paper.